Hello, everybody. My name is Jack Tiedemann. My major is Management and Entrepreneurial Studies.
Hi, everybody. My name is George Kanides. I have a background in economics and marketing.
Hi, I'm Charles Voigt, and my background is in economics.
We are Lavish Air, and this is our shareholder report. Start out with a little company history right away. We decided we wanted to go into the luxury brand market. So to start out, we sold all of the planes that we had to originally begin with, the TP300s, and we went with leasing 4 RJ350Es. They're just a nicer plane all around, and we thought that would best fit our brand. We entered one of those planes into each of the following regions 1, 3, 4, and 5, and we set our fare at 48 cents per mile to start out. Marketing, we began by setting our promotion advertising budget at $50,000 each, and we distributed our marketing efforts evenly throughout the 4 regions, so that's 25% towards each region. And again, for that brand image, we decided to go with the in-flight magazine. Human resources, we thought it was best to have our quality and training at the highest, higher level possible, so we put it at 80 grand to start with, and we began by paying 2% above prevailing wages. We broke the history of our company up into the 3 years instead of doing all 12 of the quarters. Some significant decisions we made in the first year. We decided to increase our fares from 48 cents to 49 cents, just in hopes of gaining some extra revenue. We did hire 6 salespeople just to help meet that break-even load factor. We did lease 4 more RJ350Es, bringing our total to 8 planes. With this excess amount of planes, we were able to enter Region 2, which meant we were in all 5 regions at that point. We decided to implement a car rental service. Again, this was to support our brand recognition and the luxury experience. And we saw our first net profit in Q3. On to year 2. This is when we started making a lot of decisions. A big one for us was implementing a $10 fee for special seat selection. This was a huge move. We started to really see a lot of consistent net profit after we did this. This is actually where we began to gain a lot of our revenues from. We implemented an air ambulance service. Again, this is keeping up with brand recognition and brand image for that luxury experience. And we decided to set our fares back down to 48 cents. It was looking like out at 49, we were just kind of stagnant in the middle of our market. We decided it would be best to go either on the higher end or the lower end of luxury, and so we decided to go with the lower end. And we did buy or lease 2 more RJ350Es, bringing our total to 10 planes. We began paying 4.3% above prevailing wages. This was just so we could maintain competitive and reduce our turnover rate with employees. To also help reduce turnover, we started giving out a stock bonus to all of our employees. We did hire a new director of maintenance, who we actually got from a competing company. That was huge for us. We also increased our quality and training budget to $95,000 and increased promotions and advertising to $85,000 each. On to year 3. As you can see, at this point, we had kind of had set in stone what was working well for us. We needed to make a lot less big decisions. We did hire a 7th salesperson, and we bumped our wages up to 6.52% above prevailing. Again, this was just to remain competitive and reduce our turnover. And we did max out both our quality and training and promotions and advertising budgets. And this, again, was just to help support our luxury brand recognition. I'm going to pass it off now. Oh, no, I'm not. Threat of current performance. Threat supplier leverage. We decided this was moderate. Our field suppliers, they can't really change the quality of their planes because that's a safety issue. However, our field suppliers can change their prices as freely as they want, so there's a threat there. Threat from new competition. We decided that was moderate. We are on the cheaper end of luxury, so if there were any new entrants in our market, we would feel the effects of it, but we're luxury, so there's less likely to be a chance of any new entrants at all. Threat from existing competitors, however, we did say was high. We are one of 4 luxury airlines, and so we're constantly competing for customers with these other companies. Threat from substitute products. While there is only one other company in our market that has a similar price to us, customers can always select a non-luxury flight. Generally, if they are thinking luxury, they have their mind set on that, but they can always go non-luxury as an option. Threat from buyer influence, we said this was moderately low. If customers want luxury, they have 4 options, and we are tied for one of those cheapest options. So they'll either go the high end of luxury or the low end of luxury, and if they choose the low end, we are right there for them to choose us.
Again, sticking to our current performance, this is as of quarter number 12. I wanted to go over some of the ratio analysis in terms of our financial standing currently. As we stand, our current ratio sits at just under 2, which leverages us pretty well in terms of our asset to debt ratio. And then our debt to equity ratio is relatively low at only 0.274. One caveat that I do want to touch base on is I do understand that our return on sales is relatively low right now, and we've been able to mitigate that with our 2 investments that we've implemented, with that being our auto rental business and our ambulance business, and additionally our seat selection has helped in mitigating those net losses from that. Financially standing, our cash balance sits relatively well at just over $1.5 million, and our available line of credit is just over $10 million. We were able to pay off all our short-term loans, and that's why currently it sits at $0. And in terms of our long-term loan balance, we sit at just over $1 million. However, we do plan on paying that off here in the next couple quarters. Moving on from our financial positioning, I want to go over where our shareholders stand in terms of our stock. Our current stock price currently sits at $30.24. The stock price increased drastically from the second year to the third, or from the first year to the second year. And then we've seen a little bit of stagnation from the past 4 quarters. So we'd like to improve that. We believe the best way of improving this is actually initiating our first dividend, if we could, because currently we have yet to pay out a dividend to our shareholders, and we'd love to do that. And I think that would position ourselves really well here in the near future. Moving on from our stock price, again, I touched base on our investments. These 2 investments account for about 5% of our organization's revenues. The first being the auto rental business, which was a $200,000 startup cost, which is across 8 quarters, so about $25,000 each quarter. The net profit that we've seen so far in 7 quarters of implementing this investment is at $39,190, or about an ROI of 22.39%. The second investment that we made as an organization was into the air ambulance service. That was primarily a public relations move from our end in terms of leveraging our brand image and brand awareness. So it was a relatively low risk investment at only $12,000 in terms of the startup cost, and we've seen a net profit so far of $53,680 in that investment. Moving on into primarily the airline industry, we want to touch base on the market performance. Currently, as an organization, Lavish sits 3rd in terms of market share at just under 12%. In terms of specifically in the luxury price segment, Lavish Air is sitting at 1st, which we just overtook Cloud9 Airways with 29.33% market share in that specific segment. However, Cloud9 does not lag that far behind at just under us at right exactly at 29%. In terms of a whole, the luxury price segment does account for 40.5% of the entire airline market. Moving on into how our cross-functional departments work together. I'll be getting out with the marketing department. And the primary objective of the marketing department is we want to maximize profits by acquiring the new customers and retaining the current ones. Specifically at the beginning of our business, our organization's inception, we wanted to acquire those new customers. And now moving forward, we would like to retain the current ones. And possibly if we could acquire potential new ones within our luxury price segment. And additionally, we want to develop a brand image as the leading luxury airliner. And we can do that by coordinating with the human resources department, as Charles will touch base on, as Jack will touch base on later on. So I'm going to pass it off to Charles, who's going to touch base on the financing.
Obviously, finance affects all facets of the business. What we tried to do is use our available line of credit and our loan structure to purchase assets to increase revenues. Obviously, this will affect all aspects of the business. The better our finances are, the better we can utilize our marketing tools, our human resources, and our operations. Also, we tried to issue dividends to increase our equity, again, leveraging ourselves better in our financial sense. Moving on to human resources.
For human resources, we provided competitive wages and we spent as much as we could on quality and training to support our brand image. You can see the results of this in our operations, and overall this complements our marketing efforts. For operations, we maximize our efficiency through optimal scheduling, smart fueling decisions, and this just helps increase our revenues and again supports our brand reliability.
On to our future strategy. We're positioned really well to grow fast in the near future. We have presence in all regions, which nobody else has in our niche except Modern Air. We also have a large cash balance and good operating income, so we can cover leases of new aircraft and equipment and new staff. One thing we've been considering is the RJ500 jet, which will increase our yield per mile for those international flights and lower our cost. Overall, what we're going to do is use that 5 forces model to analyze the threats we face so we can choose the best possible strategy going forward. So with that, we're going to talk about the threat of buyers. The strong competition within our industry demands that we really keep a tight grip on our customers. Our target market is business professionals, elderly travelers, international travelers, and wealthy individuals. So our product focus is on reliability and top-notch service quality. One thing we also keep in our product mix is that nonstop flight in Route F, which is that international flight. That's something that really helps our reliability. The threat of suppliers, the aircraft leases isn't a huge threat because the price is relatively stable. However, for fuel, that can fluctuate a little bit. One thing we found to work is using a weighted moving average of the last spot price and the next contract price. Moving on to new entrants and substitutes. New entrants, if people see that we're making a lot of profit within our market niche, they might try to enter the market. However, aggressive growth and continual capitalization of our profitable routes should hedge us pretty well against any new market entrants. We're going to be growing fast, and new entrants might not be able to keep up. Substitutes, customers may choose to purchase a flight that's not luxury. However, maintaining that top-notch reliability, service quality, and convenience will keep our customers. Moving on to competitors. This is our biggest threat. So in our market, our competitors are Airlux, Modern Air, and Cloud9. The ones that compete directly with us in price are Airlux and Modern Air. However, Cloud9 is our largest competitor. Their fare is set at 51 cents per seat mile. We saw that they were successful with the RJ500 jet in their lineup. They were also successful with managing a larger fleet than the rest of the market. So that's something we're looking into now. Airlux and Modern Air, they are competitive with us in price. Modern Air is the only other competitor in all regions. The big thing with this is that both of these competitors have smaller fleets than we do. So we have an advantage in Route F in all regions. We've been able to beat our competition in that international flight, which is a big deal. We also have a larger fleet size than Airlux and Modern Air. And our fleet is identical to Cloud9 right now, but I think we're ready to expand. So some things we can consider investing in: a training facility for airline pilots. That's going to be $250,000. The return on investment is 15 to 20% with a risk factor of 4. We could lease new aircrafts. The one we're looking at is that RJ500 for those international flights. That's $240,000 per quarter plus $100,000 fixed cost. That's going to increase our yield and lower our cost. So to summarize, we have a good financial position to aggressively expand now. We think that focusing on product reliability and service while expanding fast will be the best strategy. Eventually invest in shareholder dividends, corporate social responsibility, and that auto rental program to really boost our brand image and reputation. So those investments, that autopilot training facility and new aircraft leases, those are going to help us expand fast. Key takeaways from the past 3 years.
One thing that I took away, I really gained a much better understanding of how subdivided a company can be. I really always did know this, but I just never understood the extent of it. So yeah, the head of the company just doesn't need to be in contact with all the operations underneath it.
Beyond, the big thing that I learned specifically was an organization's goals and objectives. A lot of the goals and objectives that we set out in terms of maximizing each department. However, we couldn't do that unless they were attainable with the organization's financial structure.
Finally, seemingly small decisions such as a seat selection fair can have a huge impact on our large-scale operations and our financial position as a whole. That's all we had today, so thanks for listening.